respiratory system. So respiration takes place in two places. One in the lungs and another in the cells. In the cells, the oxygen from blood vessel is absorbed by the tissue cells and the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the blood. Those blood is being pumped to the heart and the heart pumps the deoxygenated blood to the lungs where the exchange of gases takes place and the oxygen is enriched in the blood and then it is again returned to the blood and from the heart it is again transferred to the tissues where it is again absorbed as oxygen. So here we can see there are two respiration, one that is taking place in the tissue cells and another that is taking place in the lungs. The exchange of gases that is taking place in the tissue cells is known as the internal respiration. Here, the oxygen is taken by the tissues from the cells in this case, and carbon dioxide has been given to the blood cells. Okay, and and in the external respiration, we see that actually carbon dioxide is absorbed by the lungs and the oxygen is pumped into the blood. And the blood is then uh, pumped into the uh, heart. Okay, so this is the respiration which takes place in the lungs is known as the external respiration, and the respiration that is taking place in the tissue cells, that is known as the internal respiration. Okay, so now we'll see in details how this external respiration is taking place in the body. So for that we'll see the human respiratory system. So human respiratory system that consists of the nasal cavity, okay, then mouth is there, epiglottis is there, that which is followed by glottis, and above that there is pharynx, larynx, then rings of cartilage is there, and then there is trachea, and in this uh, pipe it is divided into two parts. This branching of the uh, pipe, this one is known as bronchus. Okay, the trachea is divided into two. One is bronchus, which is further subdivided into smaller groups, that is known as bronchiole, and which is then finally will go to a small um, grape shape like structure that you will reach here in the alveolus where the exchange of gases takes place. So this can be better be understood from actually this diagram. So here you can see that bronchiole, uh, we have seen that trachea is divided into bronchiole, uh, and that bronchiole is further divided and finally we'll get alveoli. This alveoli is actually grape shaped, you can see like this, and this is actually sac like thing. Okay, sac, that means empty space where when we take breathe in air, the air oxygen is filled in this place. So actually when the this when the blood flows into this part, this is actually the blood which is having carbon dioxide. So when here this place when it comes to this place, here the oxygen, uh, you can say that the oxygen concentration is higher, and here the oxygen concentration is very low, so oxygen that diffuse into blood cells. Similarly, the content of CO2 in the alveolar sac is low and the carbon content in the blood is high. So the carbon dioxide will be diffusing from a higher concentration to lower concentration. So there is exchange of gases that is taking place in this uh, alveoli. Okay, so this is how the diffusion taking place, and that is basically taking place because of the concentration gradient of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And the respiratory system can be explained through this diagram. Okay, uh, so here you can see from the nose the air enters into the nasal cavities and sinuses, then it will go to the pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, and finally to the capillaries where the exchange of gases take place. So let's now understand the mechanics of breathing. So this is the mechanical part of it. What are the physical changes that are occurring during the breathing? Okay, so we uh, when we breathe in, we can observe that the chest expand and the uh, rib cage and chest expand, and the diaphragm contracts in this direction. Okay, and when we breathe out, the chest contracts. Okay, okay, and the diaphragm relaxes in this direction. So here we have a larger volume, and here when we uh, give out, then the volume of air in the body reduces. So this is the mechanics of breathing that is taking place. And when we take in the air, we can see there is one type of volume and this is another type of volume. So these have different names. We'll see in the I think fifth chapter about the how we are taking the measurement of all these volumes, that is breathing volumes, what how much air we are taking, how much air we are giving out. Okay, so before taking the readings, we must understand what are the mechanics of breathing, and that's why we are looking here. Okay, I hope you have understood about the mechanics of breathing. So this is only the mechanical aspect of this. Apart from this, we will have also the electrical aspect. What is that? For example, suppose we are doing a physical exercise, then the requirement of oxygen in the cell increases. So how um, the cells came to know? It is the brain that sends actually the signal that yes, our body require more oxygen, so take more oxygen, more breathing. And when we are relaxed, we can the automatically signal from the brain goes to the cells that okay, our oxygen requirement is enough, so we can breathe slowly. So this breathing rate is all controlled by our brain. Okay, so basically, if you can see here, this is the diagram that depicts the electrical control, I can say the electrochemical control of the respiration system. So this cerebrum is the brain, and here you can see it is connected to this diaphragm. Okay, diaphragm is a very important part. We have seen its role in the mechanics of breathing, and also this intercostal muscles. Okay, so whenever there is requirement of oxygen, so the uh, signal is sent to the diaphragm through this phrenic nerve and this intercostal nerves, that okay, you contract or you expand according to the signal. So when oxygen requirement is there, so obviously this diaphragm is going to contract in this direction, and this external internal coastal externally intercostal muscle nerve is going to expand in this direction. And when there is no requirement, then this will automatically send signal, and this will relax more slowly. Okay, when there is more requirement, then this will expand and relaxes more fast. Okay, so this is all the electrical control of um, this uh, respiratory system. To know more about the electrical control of the respiratory system, you can go through my notes which I have shared uh, in the group.